Imagine this. You are one of the most powerful people on Earth. You build incredible monuments. You bring peace and riches to your country. And then, after you're gone, someone tries to pretend you never even existed. Well, today we're talking about Hatshepsut, the great pharaoh who was very nearly erased from history. So picture this. Decades after she died, a campaign of destruction began. Her statues were toppled and smashed to pieces. Her sacred name, her very identity, was literally chiseled off of temple walls. I mean, this was a deliberate, violent attempt to make the entire world forget she was ever there. And that, of course, raises the big question, the mystery at the heart of our story. Who exactly was this woman? And what could she possibly have done that made someone so desperate to wipe her from the record books? All right, so let's get into it. To really understand why someone tried to erase her, you first have to understand the crazy situation that even allowed her to take power in the first place. It all kicks off with a classic succession crisis. You've got the pharaoh, Thutmose I, who doesn't have a male heir with his main wife. So his son from another wife, Thutmose II, has to marry his own half-sister, that's Hatshepsut, just to make his claim to the throne legit. But then, he dies really young, and suddenly the heir, Thutmose III, is just a little kid. Egypt is left without a strong ruler, and that's a very, very dangerous situation. So this is where Hatshepsut is at a crossroads. The normal, expected thing to do would be to become queen regent. She'd rule for her stepson until he was old enough, and then she'd step aside. It was a respectable but temporary gig. But she chose to do something radical. She decided to claim the title of pharaoh for herself. Not a regent, but the absolute divine monarch ruling for life. And that was a role no woman was ever supposed to have. I mean, this was a massive deal, a total break from tradition. So how on earth did she pull it off? Well, she didn't just stumble into the job. She launched one of the most brilliant marketing campaigns the ancient world had ever seen. Her strategy was pure genius, and it had three main parts. First, she went right over everyone's heads and claimed she wasn't just chosen by the gods, she was the literal biological daughter of the top god, Amun. Second, she looked the part. She had herself depicted in all the official art with the traditional symbols of a male king, right down to the kilt and the ceremonial fake beard. And third, and this was crucial, she got all the important people on her side, the powerful priests, the key government officials. She built a powerful coalition. And check this out. This is how she sold it. She had this message carved into her monuments for everyone to see. It's a direct endorsement from the Oracle of Amun, the voice of the god himself, basically saying, yep, she's my daughter and she's the king. Deal with it. It's incredible political marketing. This was so wild, so unheard of, that the Egyptian language itself had to be bent into new shapes just to describe her. Scribes came up with this amazing, mind-bending phrase, His Majesty herself. And honestly, what a perfect way to capture it, right? It blends the male power of the office with the reality of the woman holding it. Okay, so she's done the impossible. She's claimed the throne. But, grabbing power is one thing. Now she has to prove to everyone that she actually deserves it. She has to show Egypt that a woman can be a truly great pharaoh. And wow, did she deliver. Her 22-year reign wasn't just good, it was a golden age. She shifted the focus from fighting wars to building relationships and trading. She reopened these super important trade routes and wealth just poured into Egypt. She also became one of the biggest builders in Egyptian history, putting up incredible structures all over the place, especially her breathtaking mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari. But maybe the crowning jewel of her reign was this huge trading expedition she sent to the mysterious faraway land of Punt. And when the ships came back, they were loaded with the most incredible things. Gold, ivory, exotic animal skins, you name it. They even brought back live frankincense and myrrh trees, which, get this, was the first recorded attempt in history to transplant trees from one country to another. How cool is that? And she was smart. She knew you had to control the narrative. So she had the whole amazing story of the Punt expedition carved onto her temple walls, along with this little note. It's a mic drop, basically saying, no king ever has done anything this cool. So we've got peace, we've got wealth, amazing buildings. By any measure, she was a rock star pharaoh. Which brings us back to that big nagging question. If she was so great, why on earth would anyone want to erase her? It just doesn't make sense. Well, for a long time, Everybody figured it was a simple soap opera, right? The bitter stepson, Thutmose III, waiting in the wings, finally gets his throne and takes revenge. But the more modern thinking is that it wasn't personal at all. It was cold, hard politics. It was a calculated move to hit the reset button on tradition. And the biggest clue, the smoking gun really, comes down to this one number: 20. The campaign to get rid of her memory didn't start right after she died. It started 20 years into her stepson's own reign. Now, 20 years is a really long time to hold a grudge, and that delay makes the whole jealous revenge story start to fall apart. So what was really going on? Well, it all comes down to this incredibly important Egyptian idea called Ma'at. Think of it as cosmic order, truth, balance, basically the way things are supposed to be. And a huge part of Ma'at was that the king had to be a man, so Hatshepsut's success was a problem. She proved that a woman could not only do the job, but do it incredibly well. She was a dangerous precedent. Her very existence threatened the fundamental order of the universe. So erasing her wasn't personal. It was about protecting the system itself. So, the call was neat. To preserve the order of the world, to protect the future, the past had to be changed. The memory of the great female pharaoh had to go. But here's the best part. The most incredible twist in this whole story. They failed. They botched the job. The destruction was sloppy. They smashed statues but then just buried the pieces. They missed carvings in high-up, hard-to-reach places. And in a beautiful bit of irony, their shoddy work left behind a trail of breadcrumbs for modern archaeologists to follow and put her story back together. And it's wild because it's almost like she knew this fight for her legacy was coming. These are her own words, carved on one of her giant monuments. She was thinking about us. She was worried about what future generations would say about her. And in the end, after all the hammers and chisels tried to silence her, she's still speaking. So that's her story. The woman who became a king, who presided over a golden age, who was systematically deleted from memory, and who, against all odds, came back. All thanks to the clues the people trying to erase her left behind. Her incredible journey really makes you think, doesn't it? It's a powerful reminder that history isn't just a list of things that happened. It's a story. And it forces you to ask, how much of that story is shaped not by the truth of what happened, but by who has the power to tell it?